So Al, the next topic is really about Xbox. I've titled this Xbox for the gamers. Yeah,
Yeah.
for the gamers. Question
Mm.
mark as well. Question mark. Now we know that Microsoft and Xbox have been super
Yeah.
open this generation. Lots of information coming out.
Yeah.
Super open. We also know that they're more or less, not more or less, they are definitely the backwards
Mm.
compatible kings
Yeah.
of this generation.
Mm-hmm.
That is a real thing for them. That is a real thing for them. Yeah. We also know, finally, they've admitted it. Some of these games that came with the Bethesda acquisition are exclusive. Starfield is exclusive. Should be no surprise to anybody. I don't know
Yeah.
why there's noise around it. For one thing, it's a piece of IP that doesn't exist on anything else right now. It's new. If you're gonna make anything exclusive and still maintain your openness and your I wouldn't call it a mantra, but they've talked about not wanting to take
Mm.
away games from gamers. If an IP doesn't exist on it at the moment, you're not taking
Yeah.
away
Yeah.
anything from anybody. So no surprise. But I would say just two things, right? Number one, where are the games that people are talking about?
Yeah.
Where are the games? We got Games Pass, and that's amazing value, yeah. But where are the
Mm.
games? Yeah.
Yeah.
And number two, based on what we heard in the Epic vs Apple, case, right? Is Game Pass actually the video game's savior, or is it actually another threat here?
Mm.
To the first point with Xbox, where are the games?
Mm.
I'm hoping that this E3, we're gonna basically gonna hear a little bit more.
Yeah.
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 Maybe they're gonna talk a little bit about Halo Infinite. On Games Pass,
It's yeah. It's double edged, isn't it? Because it offers such good value, and to the point at which, okay, where is all that money going to get distributed, right? Who, if all these players are complaining about the various stores and stuff, what happens to the Game Pass offering? And does it detrimentally hit their revenues that much? Don't know. And again, actually, as part of Game Pass, will they get a cut of any further in-app purchases, in-game purchases as well? And that's maybe is another thing to kind of have a look at. But I think it's on your kind of question around whether it's a savior or a threat to these sorts of things. I think it's a good thing for the consumer. Is it a threat to a consumer? I don't think so, but I think it's a threat to the way these app stores works. You could argue they're monopolies in some ways as well. But it's another venue in which things are being driven through rather than through a store. But it's a platform then. It's a service that is being offered. And maybe Xbox needs to think about if Fortnite is offered as part of Game Pass, where does that cut go to? So yeah, those sorts of things.
I do wonder about this because I think you brought up the last podcast. Right now, I think the share price of Netflix has dropped somewhat.
Netflix has dropped quite
Yeah.
significantly. Yep.
I mean, what I understood was that was about profitability. Yeah, because
Mm.
obviously Netflix has had to drop all this money to get content onto their service. Yeah, initial
Yeah.
investment to build the business. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But then once that's done, and I'm assuming that's ongoing anyway.
Mm.
Operationally, business perspective, you've got to kind of have incomings that really outweigh your
Yeah.
outgoings. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I understood about that.
Yeah, and I think specifically Netflix, the main issue was the fact that the numbers and the statistics and the reports to the shareholders were showing that it felt like the numbers of subscriptions are peaking. It's getting to a point where you're not going to get many more people wanting to go onto Netflix. So that means the question is that if you're still not making money whilst you're getting to your peak, when the hell are you ever going to make money? So this is like, well, are you actually giving too much value, and that sort of thing. So it's a difficult one.
Yeah,
Difficult
correct,
one.
correct. And Microsoft being as big as they are, they can, bankroll this for a long time. But there'll come a point in time where, you know what, they need to see some sort of return on their investment. Yeah.
Yep.
So at that point,
Yep.
what happens then? Is it going to become more expensive? Is it going to be something that basically impacts other the developers and publishers? Then then the percentage cut might change. Then it becomes less friendly.
Yep.
And I was thinking about this. This is a very insidious kind of thought, actually. But I was thinking to myself, if Microsoft can't beat Nintendo and Sony at their own game, so let's say they need to win by other means. Yeah, they need to take away from their competitors by another means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that means by offering Games Pass as cheaply as they can, where the console or the platform no longer becomes a factor, really. Yeah. And by doing that, they're actually kind of bleeding Sony and Nintendo. Yeah, let's say.
Yeah.
So they can't.
Definitely
So they're
possible.
not in a position where they can compete. You know what I mean? And that's a very insidious,
if you're playing,
evil thought.
if you're playing the ultimate long game,
Yeah.
And it's a game of how long can we bleed?
Yeah. Versus them, like
then they're gonna
basically,
last, right?
who's got the most blood?
And then they will be the in the sort of evil, insidious way. It would be they're the last man standing,
Yeah.
which means then they can charge whatever they want
Correct.
after that.
I wish I basically said like is Xbox evil. That's what I should have called this. But you know what I mean? It's just kind of a thought, right? I mean, look, let's assume like there is a console war going on, and Game Pass is some sort of Trojan horse into this whole thing, right? Yeah, I mean it's food for thought, but I mean, I don't think Microsoft are actually doing this, but I'm just thinking that might be the net effect of what happens as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It could be.
Yeah,
it could
of
be.
them
But
being
maybe there's a rebase of it at some point when they work out that they can't continue down that model. And again, I suspect it will have to react to the Epic versus Apple thing. No doubt, there's a lot that's going to happen from that.
Yeah, and it'll kind of be very, very telling if they, if they get a chance to put kind of Game Pass on PlayStation, and they opt not to.
Yeah.
Then what does that mean? You know what I mean? It's just like that will really put the cat amongst the pigeons. I tell you what, if that would have to happen, really, that's more wild speculation. But anyway.
Yeah. And I guess back to your first point, on the games and for the gamers, they definitely need to up that game if they really want to be a game offering.
Yeah, I mean it's really quite interesting. I mean I did say some time ago I think Games Pass is their launch title, if you like, but as good as Games Pass is, it's kind of boring not to have basically that game you covet.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's what gets people's attention.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that changes at E3. That we'll see an exclusive that looks amazing. Gives people certainly gives me a reason to go out and get an Xbox. But right now, aside from Game Pass being amazing, which I can get on my PC, I don't have a reason. I do not have a reason, which is a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, exactly. I think exactly the same. But I think for me, it also applies to PlayStation to an extent. I need that one game that actually wants me to actually go and purchase one. So I've not been trying to get a PlayStation 5 because I've just not needed one. So
yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair cop. I don't think there's a massive reason to get any of these consoles at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel there's more of a reason right now to get a PS5 because there's a handful of titles you can get on it that you can't get elsewhere. It literally is a handful. Is that enough for you to drop at least £500 or $500 or €500 on so you can play a handful of games? Probably not. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
But again, look, time will tell. E3's coming up, and I hope the whole situation becomes crystallized. Hope kind of Xbox continues basically pushing Games Pass, because I said before, by them doing that, it's basically forcing Sony to do more. Yeah, and Sony won't do anything unless they're putting, unless they feel threatened, they're not going to do anything. They'll carry on doing what they're
Yeah.
doing because we're just fueling that machine. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no other alternative. We're just gonna fuel that machine, and they're gonna carry on. Yeah, I'm hoping Xbox is for the gamers. So far
Yeah.
they're saying and doing the right things, but
Yeah.
again, where are the games, and let's see how Games Pass develops.
Yeah. Agreed.
And now, with us basically covering, if Xbox is evil for the gamers, otherwise, let's move on.